If you rely on Centrelink payments in any form, whether that is the age pension, disability support pension, family tax benefit, job seeker, youth allowance, or parenting payment, a wave of changes is about to hit your fortnightly payments. Income limits are shifting, asset thresholds are rising, and family payment rates are going up. These changes are locked in, and they start on July 1st. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly which numbers apply to your situation. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are walking through every major Centrelink indexation change taking effect on July 1st, 2026. This is the regular twice-yearly process the government uses to adjust payment rates, income limits, and asset thresholds in line with cost of living changes, and this round affects millions of recipients across several different payment types. Let's go through each of these updates carefully so you know exactly what is changing and how it might affect you. Let's start with Family Tax Benefit Part A and Part B, since these changes touch a huge number of households. For families receiving Family Tax Benefit Part A, the maximum rate for children under 13 is increasing to $235.48 per fortnight, an increase of roughly $8. For children 13 and over, the new maximum rate rises to $306.46 per fortnight. These are modest increases individually, but they add a little extra support each fortnight for households raising both younger and older children. Family Tax Benefit Part B is also increasing. The maximum rate for families with a youngest child under 5 is rising to $200.34 per fortnight, an increase of about $7. For families whose youngest child is 5 or older, the new maximum rate becomes $139.86 per fortnight. If you currently receive either of these payments, these new rates apply automatically from July 1st. The same indexation round also lifts the multiple birth allowance and the newborn supplement, so families welcoming twins, triplets, or a new baby will see those specific payments adjust upward as well. It is worth keeping an eye on your Centrelink statement around that date to confirm the new figures have come through correctly. Now let's move to the age pension, where the changes work a little differently. The base age pension rate itself is not increasing as part of this particular indexation round, since the payment rate is indexed separately in March and September. What is changing on July 1st is the income and asset thresholds that determine how much you can earn or own before your payment starts to reduce. In practice, that means more people will be able to keep more income and more assets while still receiving a full or part pension, and some Australians may become newly eligible under the higher limits who were not eligible before. Looking at the income test first, single pensioners can now earn up to $226 per fortnight, an increase of $8, and still receive the full pension. Couples combined can earn up to $396 per fortnight, up by $16. Once you earn above these free areas, your pension reduces by 50 cents for every dollar over the threshold. The new upper cutoff point, where the part pension stops altogether, rises to $2,627.80 per fortnight for singes and $4,016.80 for couples combined. These higher free areas and cutoff points give recipients more room to earn income before the taper begins, and more room again before the pension stops entirely. Next comes the assets test, and the increases here are more substantial. Single homeowners can now hold up to $333,000 in assessable assets, an increase of $11,500, and still receive the full pension. Couple homeowners can hold up to $499,000 combined, an increase of $17,500. For non-homeowners, the increases are even larger, since their asset limits already sit higher to account for the fact that they do not own an exempt principal residence. Single non-homeowners can now hold up to $600,000, an increase of $20,500, while couple non-homeowners can hold up to $766,000, up $26,500. For part pensions, the upper asset limits are also rising. Single homeowners will be able to hold assets up to $733,500 before losing eligibility entirely, while couple homeowners can hold up to $1,102,500 combined. These higher ceilings mean more people can hold on to some level of pension payment even as the value of their savings, investments, or other assets grows over time. Deeming thresholds are shifting on the same date. The deeming threshold for singles is increasing to $66,800, up from $64,200, while the threshold for couples is rising to $110,600, up from $106,200. The lower deeming rate remains at 1.25%, applying to financial assets up to these new thresholds, while the higher deeming rate remains at 3.25% for anything above them. Because the thresholds themselves are rising, a larger portion of most people's financial assets will now be assessed at the lower rate, which can help keep assessed income lower and support continued eligibility or a higher payment rate.
Taken together, this is a coordinated package of changes. Family tax benefit Part A and Part B rates are lifting. The multiple birth allowance and newborn supplement are increasing. Income and asset-free areas for the age pension and disability support pension are moving higher, and asset limits for job seeker, youth allowance, and parenting payment are also increasing as part of the same indexation cycle. The base age pension rate itself stays the same this round, but the surrounding tests become noticeably more generous, meaning more income and more assets can be held before payments begin to taper or stop altogether. To put the age pension changes in perspective, a single homeowner receiving the pension gains an extra $11,500 of asset room compared with the previous limit. Couples who own their home gain an extra $17,500 combined. Non-homeowners see even larger increases, with singles gaining $20,500 and couples gaining $26,500. On the income side, the additional $8 per fortnight for singles and $16 per fortnight for couples before the 50-cent reduction begins can make a genuine practical difference over the course of a year, and the higher cutoff points mean payments continue further up the income scale than they did previously. For families, the Family Tax Benefit Part A maximum rates move to $235.48 per fortnight for children under 13 and $306.46 for children 13 and older. Part B rises to $200.34 for families with a youngest child under 5 and $139.86 when the youngest child is 5 or older. The multiple birth allowance and newborn supplement receive their own indexation increases from the same July 1st.
These updates apply broadly, and whether you receive family tax benefit, the age pension, disability support pension, job seeker, youth allowance, or parenting payment, the relevant rates, limits, or cutoffs connected to your payment are shifting upward in some way. The core message is straightforward. More income and more assets will generally be allowed before payments reduce, and certain family payments will be modestly higher each fortnight starting July 1st. If any of these figures sound like they might apply to your situation, it is worth checking your Centrelink online account once the new settings take effect to confirm the updated amounts are reflected correctly in your own payments. The bottom line is this. The age pension base rate itself is not changing in this particular round of indexation, but nearly everything around it is, from income-free areas and asset limits to deeming thresholds and family payment rates. All of these changes take effect from July 1st, 2026 as part of the government's standard indexation cycle. So if you receive any of these payments, it is worth taking a few minutes to see exactly how the new numbers apply to you. If this breakdown helped make sense of what is changing, give the video a like, share it with someone else who relies on Centrelink payments, and subscribe so you get the next update as soon as new figures are confirmed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next